Here are the top stories of the news. Nigerian workers join their counterparts around the world in marking the 2023 Workers' Day. APC distanced itself from the purported sack of the party's South-South Zonal Chairman, Victor Giadom. Others. On the foreign scene, Sudan's warring factions continue to fight despite extending a barely respected 72-hour ceasefire. Good afternoon and welcome to Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. My name is Evelyn Ohiole. As Nigerian workers join their counterparts around the world in marking the 2023 Workers' Day celebration, the Senate President Ahmed Lawan has hailed workers for their patriotism and commitment to nation building. In a statement yesterday, Mr. Lawan said the workers have contributed in finding solutions to challenges and supported the efforts of government targeted at meeting the yearnings of the populace. He stated that the consistent patriotic stance of the Nigerian workers has enhanced peace and industrial harmony, as well as provided a conducive environment for economic growth and development in the country. He called on the government to always pay serious attention to labor-related matters, adding that the dictum that labor creates wealth remains valid. Now to security matters, two Catholic priests, Reverend Father Churches Kunav and his colleague, Reverend Father Raphael Ogigba, have been kidnapped by gunmen within the Ogbara Auto area of Ughelli North local government in Delta State. The Delta State Police Command in a statement yesterday confirmed the incident, noting that it was on the trail of the kidnappers who abducted the priests. According to the authorities, the clerics were abducted at the Ogbara Auto Road on Saturday night while on their way to Ughelli. The State Police Public Relations Officer Edafe Bright said the command has been proactively handling the abduction to ensure they are released unharmed. And Zanfara troops of Operation Hadar in Daji have neutralized 3 terrorists in the Anchor local government area of the state. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Musa Damadami, confirmed this in a statement yesterday. He said the troops ambushed the bandits in the local government yesterday morning, adding that following a firefight, 3 of the terrorists were neutralized. He disclosed that the troops also recovered 1 PKT gun with 48 rounds of ammunition, 3 AK-47 rifles, 3 magazines with 63 rounds of ammunition, and 3 motorcycles. Now to politics, the ruling All Progressives Congress APC last night distanced itself from the purported sack of the party's South-South Zonal Chairman Victor Giadom and Secretary Ita Udosan, describing the action as unlawful and unconstitutional. The removal of the APC leaders was ratified in a special resolution signed by the acting Zonal Chairman and Zonal Organizing Secretary, Blessing Agbomere. Acting Zonal Secretaries and Zonal Special Leader Chief Edet Ita Asia in Port Harcourt on Saturday. Mr. Giadom was accused of refusing to call for meetings and disrupting every effort to call for meetings by members of the Zonal Executive Committee to transact the political business of the zone. Reacting to the development, the APC National Publicity Secretary, Felix Marker, described the act as unlawful and unconstitutional, saying the act was perpetrated by some individuals who do not have the authority to take such decision. It stated that the action of the individuals is unlawful, is without lawful or constitutional authority, and therefore a nullity and should be disregarded. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party PDP yesterday insisted that its candidate Atiku Abubakar clearly won the February 25th, 2023 presidential election, judging according to the main opposition party by the actual votes cast at the polling units across the country. In a statement, the party's National Publicity Secretary Debo Ologunagba of the party describes the subjudice claims by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, that the opposition lost the election as yet another in the series of attempts by the All Progressives Congress APC-led federal executive to bully and blackmail the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. He noted that Mohammed's comment is coming after President Muhammadu Buhari made similar subjudice comment in his widely condemned attempt to justify the rigging of the presidential election, which case is pending before the tribunal. The PDP said it was, however, not surprised that Mr. Mohammed will continue in the trajectory of the Buhari-led APC administration, which is notorious for lying, deceit and falsehood. A former governor of Zamfara State and Senator-elect Abdulaziz Yari yesterday evening urged the ruling All Progressives Congress APC to reward performance and not ethnicity or religion when zoning key offices in the 10th National Assembly. Mr. Yari made the call shortly after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. He argued that the North, being the highest contributor of votes to ensure the victory of the APC in the February 25th presidential elections, should be offered the opportunity to produce the next Senate elsman. Mr. Yari further added that the party must exercise caution in its next course of action as the APC no longer has the numbers it used to have in the past.
On doing whatever they are going to do, they should look at how best they should do to reward performance, not religion, because the religion is not in the constitution of Nigeria. No doubt about it. Nigeria has done what is supposed to do to APC, and APC shall be a ruling party. We are going to do the job, and I'm going to do the right thing. Well, I am transparency. We have to do everything together collectively as colleague and non-partisan. Nigeria first.
Still with the Assembly leadership race, murder-alleged lawmaker Al-Hassan Ado-Doguwa has entered the speakership race for the 10th National Assembly. Mr. Doguwa's intention was confirmed in a letter sent to the members-elect of the 10th Assembly. Mr. Doguwa, who represents Doguwa Tudun-Wada Federal Constituency of Kano State, said his passion for nation-building fueled his desire to aspire to the position. Following the development, Mr. Doguwa will now become the 11th entrant for the speakership position of the Green Chamber. Mr. Doguwa is currently facing charges for allegations bordering on murder and electoral violence during the 2023 general election. In Adamawa, the state's suspended resident electoral commissioner Hudu Yunusa Ari has broken his silence on the controversial declaration of Aishatu Dahiru of the All Progressives Congress APC as the winner of the governorship election. Mr. Ari was suspended by the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC after his illegal declaration of Ms. Binani as the winner, which was contrary to the Electoral Act. INEC later declared Amadou Fintiri of the People's Democratic Party PDP as the authentic winner of the election. Mr. Ari, in a letter to the Inspector General of Police, claimed that he acted within the ambit of the law, stating that the results to be announced by the INEC collation officer differed from the copies assigned and uploaded on the results viewing portal. He also alleged that attempts were made to replace him with his secretary and accused two national commissioners of meeting with Governor Amadou Umaru Fintiri at the Government House Yola during the supplementary election. He noted that it was based on these that he compiled all the polling unit results and declared the election winner based on the highest number of valid votes scored by the candidate of the APC. Ahead of President Muhammadu Buhari's exit from office in a month's time, the presidency has insisted that he served meritoriously, and in spite of criticisms, he has not left the country the way he met it. The presidential communications team yesterday released a 91-page document chronicling the achievements of President Muhammadu Buhari's 8 years in office in 20 sectors. According to a statement released by the presidential spokesman Femi Adesina, the document titled Buhari's Footprints on the Sands of Time will replace half of information critics of the president had peddled. The statement added that for those who remain objective, taking a dispassionate look at the fact sheet would admit that President Buhari has indeed caused major reforms in various sectors of the nation. Moving on, the National Population Commission (NPC) has said the postponement of the earlier planned 2023 population and housing census will not attract any cost to the federal government, contrary to insinuations in some quarters. At a chat with the media yesterday, the NPC Director, Public Affairs Department, Dr. Isiaka Yaya, disclosed that the census was postponed in order to allow Nigerians who were aggrieved with the outcome of the 2023 elections heal and accept the reality that the elections have been concluded and winners emerged. He noted that the postponement of the census was due to the federal government's wisdom to ensure that the exercise is conducted when all Nigerians are happy and nerves have been calmed after the inauguration of the incoming government. Dr. Isiaka, however, debunked the rumors making the rounds that the census was postponed due to insufficient funds and poor preparation by the Commission. He insisted that in terms of funding, the federal government has lived up to its expectations by providing the needed funds. You're watching Spring News at 12 on Western Spring Television. We will be right back after this break.
Samuel Laduke Akintola was a frontal figure in the historical moves that birthed an independent Nigeria from colonial Britain. As a freedom activist, he deployed his wits, energy, intellect, and oratory skills to prepare the grounds for constitutional talks that eventually culminated in the country's independence in 1960. The 13th Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land cut his teeth as a politician when he became a foundation member of Action Group, the dominant political party in the Western region, and was elected the party's parliamentary leader of opposition at the Federal House of Representatives. The crisis in the Action Group, which pitched Samuel Laduke Akintola against his leader, was not only a sore point in his colorful political life, but a reversal of gains which characterized the exemplary leadership of Awolowo Akintola premiership. 23 years after his death, Oyo State University of Technology Ogbomosho was renamed Samuel Laduke Akintola University of Technology to keep his memory alive. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Laduke Akintola as a major character in history.
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us on News at 12. Moving on, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAMB says results for the 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME will be released tomorrow. JAMB spokesman Fabian Benjamin in a statement also called all candidates who could not sit for the 2023 UTME within their scheduled time owing to no fault of theirs would be rescheduled to take the examination on Saturday, May 6, 2023. It said the candidates under these categories are those who were verified at their centers but could not sit the examination, those who could not be biometrically verified, and those with mismatched data. It stated that the board would release the results of candidates who took the examination tomorrow. He added that the board had delayed the release to ensure that all necessary screening are concluded, besides ensuring that the mean and standard deviation are reasonably attained. Now talking business, with rising concerns around the seeming disappearance of newly redesigned notes, the Central Bank of Nigeria said it is supplying more quantities of the new notes to banks. The Apex Bank made this known in a statement yesterday by its acting director, Corporate Communications, Dr. Isa Abdulmumin. He disclosed that banks are expected to disburse the new currencies to their customers via over-the-counter payments and automated teller machines. He reiterated that the new and old currency notes have been circulating side by side, just as the bank has been taking delivery of a good quantity of the redesigned banknotes from the Nigerian Security Printing and Minting Company Limited. Outside Nigeria, United States regulators has said First Republic Bank has been seized and a deal agreed to sell the bank to JP Morgan Chase & Co. in what is the third major U.S. institution to fail in 2 months. JP Morgan in a statement said it will take $173 billion of loans and about $30 billion of securities of First Republic Bank, including $92 billion of deposits, but it would not assume the bank's corporate debt or preferred stock. First Republic Bank shares tumbled 36% in pre-market trading, while its stock lost 97% of its value this year. JP Morgan shares rose 2.6%, while S&P 500 futures were trading flat. JP Morgan was one of several interested buyers, including PNC Financial Services Group and Citizens Financial Group Incorporated, which submitted final bids yesterday in an auction being run by U.S. regulators. In the meantime, all fell this morning as concern over the economic impact of the U.S. Federal Reserve potentially raising interest rates and weaker Chinese manufacturing data outweighed support from new OPEC Plus supply cuts taking effect this month. The Fed, which meets on May 2nd and 3rd, is expected to increase interest rates by another 25 basis points. The U.S. dollar rose against a basket of currencies on Monday, making oil more expensive for other currency holders. Brent crude fell by 1.5% to $79.12 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude lost 1.3% to trade at $75.82. Weak economic data from China and the stronger dollar outweighed support from the voluntary output cuts of around 1.16 million barrels per day by members of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and allies, including Russia. In Africa, Sudan's warring factions continue to fight, despite extending a barely respected 72-hour ceasefire that was due to end at midnight yesterday. The army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, both said they would extend the much-breached ceasefire for a further 72 hours, with the RSF saying its decision was in response to international, regional, and local calls. But dark smoke could be seen around the capital Khartoum despite the ceasefire. Meanwhile, the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres is sending his emergency relief chief to Sudan amid the unprecedented situation. Mr. Guterres made the announcement via Twitter, stating that in light of the rapidly deteriorating humanitarian crisis, he was sending the UN relief chief Martin Griffiths to the region immediately. Outside Africa, Ukraine says its air defenses destroyed 15 out of 18 missiles launched by Russian forces as Moscow intensifies attacks against the neighbor in recent days. Ukraine's commander-in-chief of the armed forces, Valery Zaluzhy, made this known in a Telegram post, noting that at least one person was killed and 3 others injured in the southern region of Kherson. According to officials in Kiev, no civilian casualties or destruction of residential buildings or infrastructure were immediately recorded. Russian missiles also targeted the central city of Dnipro, with regional officials saying the air defense crews shot down 7 missiles, but 25 people sought medical help. Ukraine's air defense systems have been bolstered in recent months by deliveries of Western equipment, including the American Patriot missile system received in April. Elsewhere, Turkish intelligence forces have killed the suspected leader of the ISIL group, Abdullah Hussein al-Husseini al-Qurashi. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan made the announcement, noting that the intelligence corps had been monitoring the alleged leader of the hotline group for a long time before launching their operation. Mr. Erdogan, in an interview with TRT Tech broadcaster yesterday, said the individual was neutralized as part of an operation by the Turkish National Intelligence Organization in Syria. The president added that Ankara will continue its fight against terrorist organizations without any discrimination. Syrian local and security sources said the raid took place near the northern Syrian town of Jinderes, which is controlled by Turkey-backed rebel groups. Al-Qurashi became ISIS leader in November 2022 after his predecessor was killed. And South America, Santiago Pena has won Paraguay's election, returning the conservative Colorado Party to government after a tightly contested campaign that had threatened to end its 7-decade hold on power. According to the country's electoral body, the 44-year-old economist and former finance minister had 42.7% of the vote, with more than 99% of ballots counted, 15 points more than its closest rival from the center-left Efrain Al-Jarem. Mr. Pena, speaking after the victory, said the victory was not a personal triumph, but the victory of a people who, with their votes, chose the path of social peace, dialogue, fraternity, and national reconciliation. Mr. Alegre, a lawyer, had a narrow lead in opinion polls heading into the vote, raising the prospect that he might unseat the Colorado Party that has governed almost continually since 1947. Now to some sports stories. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta says it took a while to get over what last week's defeat at Manchester City. He said even though his side do not want to accept the defeat, they have to recognize the fact that City took the game to a different level, which they did not reach. Speaking ahead of tomorrow's game at home to Chelsea, it disclosed that there is still work to be done. He noted that the title race was no longer in their hands, stating that what is in their hands is to try to win the games they have left.
That is what I like the most, is that even achieving that with 6 games to go, something I don't think has happened in more than a decade at this club, we're still not satisfied and we're still upset and we want more. So we want to be the club that we want to be consistently with the best. That's the mentality that we need, and that's what I loved more the last few days, because we have achieved what it was difficult to achieve and we can still achieve the Premier League, because it's 5 games to go and a lot of things are going to happen still. What we have to do is forget about what happened last week, learn from it and move on into the next game with a full team at home with our people, London derby, and put things right. How many is 247? So tomorrow 248. This is what I want. Win tomorrow and be at the top. I don't think it's unfair. It's football. We are Arsenal Football Club. We have to be here to win every single trophy. This is the demands. The reality, what happened in the last 15 years, that's not the reality. But the demands have to be there. So the thing that I like the most, again, I repeat myself, great, we are in Champions League and everybody is still unsatisfied with the situation. And this is what we need if we want to move forward as a club and as a team.
Staying with English football, Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp says referee Paul Tierney appears to have something against his team after a remarkable ending to their 4-3 win over Tottenham. Diogo Jota scored an injury time winner for the Reds just 99 seconds after Richarlison made it 3-3, with Liverpool having led 3-0 inside 15 minutes. Klopp was furious with Spurs being awarded a free kick which led to their equaliser and ran to scream at the fourth official after the winner, but hurt his leg in front of the Tottenham bench. He was shown a yellow card by the referee after his celebration. Klopp, speaking after the game, said the club have a history with Mr. Tierney, adding that he does not know what the referee has against the team.
Our history with Mr. Tierney, I really don't know what this man has with us. I really don't know.
Did your frustration building throughout the game?
He always will say there's nothing, and it's not true. It cannot be. I have to say it cannot be. I don't understand that. I'm really not sure it's me, because how he looks at me, I don't understand it. I've really no problem with any people, and not with him as well. But it's just like, again, he was ref at Tottenham when Harry Kane didn't get a red card. It's like, and Harry Kane, I love this player. What a player, crazy. I don't want him to get a red card, but it was a red card in that game. It was Mr. Tierney, and nobody asked him about it, because in England nobody don't have to clarify situations. So it's really tricky. It's difficult to understand. And my celebration towards the fourth official, I didn't say any bad words, nothing, but was unnecessary. I got punished for that immediately. I pulled my hamstring or adductor or whatever, so fine, that's fair. But what he said to me then when he gave me the yellow card.
Go on.
No, it's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. But it's not okay as well.
So what he said to you, you don't want to hang on. You don't want to say any more, but it was unacceptable.
Not only because I said already what I wanted to say, so there's no extra question.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm just wondering. I didn't bring it up. You did, so I'm wondering.
Yeah, but I stopped them there. Can we ask any more questions? That's it.
Before we end the news, here is a recap of our top stories. As Nigerian workers join the rest of the world in marking the May Day celebration, the Senate President Ahmed Lawan has hailed workers for their patriotism and commitment to nation building. The ruling All Progressives Congress APC last night distanced itself from the purported sack of the party's South-South Zonal Chairman Victor Giadam and Secretary Ita Udosen. On the foreign scene, Sudan's warring factions continue to fight despite extending a barely respected 72-hour ceasefire that was due to end at midnight yesterday. You can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. That ends Spring News at 12. I am Evelyn Ohiole. Many thanks for your time.